Okay, so we're back on jack stands. I was hoping to be able to rip this car for a while automatic and, you know, have a little fun and not go just straight into remove engine, remove transmission, do it all, but these are the dice we rolled, and we have a bad engine, so I've already started disassembling components off of this engine, and I pulled in an engine from my backyard. Didn't test it. Should be good, right? So it's almost ready to be pulled. I just need to pull the AC power steering and disconnect the transmission and the tranny stuff inside. So I'm gonna work on that. I'm taking this at 3-hour increments at a time because I'm not really mentally prepared, or wasn't mentally prepared to do an engine swap, but what are you gonna do? So we got a bunch of the top stuff off. I actually just started swapping stuff straight onto here, which might make it easier, might not, I don't know. But this thing it's a 1991, so it's a thick rod motor. I was told that it's good, lower kilometers. It looks like it came from underwater. So I'll probably just hit the rear main seal. And dang, that had leaky exhaust, I think. I'll probably just hit the rear main seal and go for it. Swap the timing belt, hit it turbo brick style. All right, trans is hanging. I basically just need to do power steering, which is super lame every time. And then I'm gonna yank this out and then start putting everything on here. Then I gotta pull, God damn it. I gotta get the flywheel off of this thing. There's the Yoshi lightened flywheel there. I guess I gotta pull this off the stand. Pull the flywheel off and put it back on. So that's cool and good. But we're rocking and rolling. Hope it all goes back together nice. Flywheel's on, I just need to order a bearing puller. Let's take a look at what we got in the pile. I got clutch pedal, assembly, and then slave and master. Excellent. I got a T5 mount for a 240, which I won't need, I don't think. Drive shaft adapter. I don't know if the drive shaft I have will work. It's off a 4-door 240. I don't know, not a big deal to get one made. The Yoshi Fab 6-puck. I don't think there's too many kilometers on this thing. But got the clutch, pressure plate, all the bolts. And then I have bell housing with the adapter. Nice. Throw bearing. Should probably order a new throw bearing. I didn't do that on my 960 and it was super loud. I think this is probably just, yeah, it's just M46 throw bearing. Oh yeah, we got a part number. Hell yeah. Yeah, that thing's gonna be super annoying. So, I think I might need a new, whatchamacallit, clutch fork. Yeah. Now I got a pretty crazy idea for the shifter relocation. Tell me if I'm an idiot. So these are short shifters. So shifter sits like this. This is like right where the fuse panel is. Shifter basically needs to sit exactly one whole shifter behind it. So how about two? And I'm just gonna weld that to that and tie them together. And then it'll just free hang there. And then I could support this with a cross brace. But this lands like, I think pretty perfectly. And then I'll just tie those together with a piece of steel and have the shifter come off of this one. I'll be the guinea pig for you guys. I don't know if that's stupid or not. The time has come. We're gonna evacuate this thing out of here. Alright, we just got this heavy unit out. So this thing's been leaking. So I'm gonna get this all tidied up. The pressure washer. New engine mounts. That should be about it. Strip all the gadgets off this, put them on there. Gotta get all the AC and everything on. If you delete your AC, then fuck you. Nice little IPD box here. We got throat bearing, clutches on, and the fork. So we're gonna try and assemble this tranny situation. Turbo skis on. Nice new manifold hardware. I'm just gonna delete this EGR or whatever. Some sort of cap on it and plate that. Who needs it? Okay, we got this engine basically ready. I did the cam and stuff off camera just because I was ripping it with a few friends. Got the cam, just the full IPD cam kit. Everything's timed up, new water pump, new studs, new seals, and then new rear main. Just kind of the stupid things not to do, but I'm really trying to embrace the quick and dirty with this one. But it should be pretty sick, I think. I wasn't planning on putting a cam in, but I think it's gonna pull pretty hard. So the only thing I'm waiting for in the mail is I got a braided turbo oil feed because I just don't want to fuck around with the hard line. Especially with this relocation bracket and everything, it just kind of got in the way. So I'm just gonna go braided drain, braided feed. So I was waiting to put the engine in to have the oil cooler and the oil feed, everything on under there, so I didn't really have to mess with anything. But I think that's still like a week out, so I'm just gonna pull the turbo manifold, or the turbo and manifold, and then just have the engine mount on, put the motor in so I can measure up the drive shaft because it needs to be lengthened. And then I can install the oil feed, oil cooler, and then turbo manifold after. I got all new hardware, so it's gonna be a breeze, hopefully, to get it all installed. And then we should be rocking and rolling. But then, yeah, I can stick all this stuff. I can start fastening everything on this side, which will be good. And then by the time I get my drive shaft, we should be ready to shred it. Okay, we got this motor. I guess red blocks are worth something nowadays. I got $100. I'm not taking the tranny off. He can frickin' deal. So $100 got that sold. That's sweet. Since the other motor was free, we're basically making money. Assemble this half of the motor. I mean, I could have started doing it, but come on. It's obviously smarter to go from the bottom up. So I'm gonna put the turbo rated line on, then I'll put the oil cooler on, and then the manifold. Had to give the old girl a quick Scotch-Brite. Can't be putting that underwater corrosion intercooler in there. You know, in Turbo Bricks fashion, I might just follow the internet's suggestion of you just screw a 2x2 to the bottom of that and it fits perfect. I don't want to do it, but I also do want to do it. We're getting the intercooler piping dialed in. This intercooler, I just had to like notch out here and then over there. And you have to mount it to, I mounted it to this. I know that's super ghetto, but better than a 2x2 that people recommend. And I just got silicone and proper clamps. This one I obviously couldn't find. I might have to order that from 288 or something. But yeah, like once the intercooler piping's on, I don't even have it really, it's just sitting in the brackets on the bottom. It barely even moves, so I'm just gonna extend these rubber mounts so it squishes it down as well. And then it should be good to go. I'm still waiting for this frickin' oil feed, so I'm just gonna start hooking up the rad. Keep plugging away. Everybody's favorite job, slave or master installed. Just gotta remove the brake pedal, which sucks. Let's do a little tester here. Oh. Wow, sensational. I'm straight up having a bad time. Won't start, don't know why. Retime the whole thing. Still doesn't start. I don't know, I'm double checking everything. Everything's off the running car, so I don't know if it's some stupid electrical thing, but I have gas, I've got fuel and spark, so, you know, and it's timed right. So I don't know. I'm gonna try and stick this strut brace on. The only thing I'm worried about is where the brace is to the firewall isn't super ideal. It's like, do I have to squish it or what? Right here, this bit, it's like, I mean, I guess I can try and see how it works. It's gonna look pretty sweet. Not sure if I'm the dumb one or not here, but just hits the main throttle cable. Okay, so engine starts, works, purrs like a kitten, in fact. There's like a slight bit of blow-by, so I'm just kind of diagnosing the PCV that I put in here. And then it seems to be leaking oil, like when it's pressurizing out the bottom of the PCV. And then it's also leaking out of the freaking oil cooler lines. So I'm gonna have to do the horrible job of pulling these and then it's like I think it's a copper O-ring that goes on those, but obviously the only way you can tell it's leaking is it's running with a full tank of oil. So it's full of oil, so I'm gonna have to, yeah, drop the new oil. But I need to do that anyway because it's a boat anchor motor. Okay, PCV's hooked up to the right. PCV's hooked up to the right vacuum port, so it'll be sucking way harder, hopefully. New PCV O-ring, new copper O-rings on the oil cooler. So I'm hoping she fires up, she purrs, and everything's good. Because I don't want another blow-by motor. All right, we got most of this shite on. Pointer, don't install the oil cooler after the engine's in. That's super lame. At least don't try and install it with the line still on. Oh, I just made a big mess. Everything's on. I just got to order a 45 silicone for this. I'm gonna chop this back, get it angled up right, a couple hose clamps, and then this bottom bolt's becoming too tight, which I don't like, so I'm gonna leave it, and then get the rest of this stuff on, and then hopefully should be able to fire it up. Just finished up. Just trying to get most of these all silicone. So intercooler's in, it ain't moving nowhere. It's got like a little bit of, but it's not touching any metal on metal. Cut this down, silicone this. I wish I could have silicone that. I think Do 88 makes one, but I don't care that much. One Do 88 silicone probably costs the same as all of these. And then 2 3/4 to 2 inch, and then 2 inch elbow under there. This looks pretty crazy, but what are you gonna do? Nice oil feed that's not gonna be annoying. And then I'm running mostly new vacuum lines. Just gotta trim this puppy up. This thing, yeah, I don't know. I was gonna try and 90 a cone and cut a hole down there, but I'm not sure what to do. I might just pop a hole in here. Pop a hole in the, like right here, and see if there's like a universal air duct. Like if I get like a 3-inch scoop from the bottom that's just scoop some cold air up here, and then just toss a, look how floppy that thing is. And then just toss a cold air on here. A cone, I don't know. I think cones are hideous. I would like this to look OEM. I mean, they're not the prettiest looking. This bit makes it pretty ugly, but we got the powder, texture black, matches the M-Cam strut brace. Everything's black, which is pretty sick. I just got trying to jimmy up a little catch can situation and a fuel pump. So just slapping a catch can there on some factory mounts. Don't have airbox. So I'm just running this into an oil separator box here so it doesn't run straight into the intake. And then I really want to do metal intake for maximum turbo noises. So I've just got this 3-inch MAF on the filter, and then I'm just waiting for a 45-degree black aluminum piece of pipe, so it'll come off here, and then way more noise when it's metal, as opposed to just a rubber one, floppy rubber. Gotta get rid of as much floppy rubber as possible. The only floppy rubber that remains is this in its shell. And then for the fuel pump, you know, I buy everything nice for some cars, but we're going medium on this car. So it's half the price of a Walbro, and it's a 340 instead of a 255. So hopefully we'll just blow the doors off this motor eventually, but we'll slap this puppy in. It's got all the stuff. This is like 67 bucks, and the reviews seem pretty decent, hopefully. So we'll do that. And then the list is getting small. I got a new gauge coming for the wideband and boost and everything. So I would say a couple weeks and this thing should be driving. Hopefully, just gotta get those oil cooler things rebuilt, and then we'll be good. All right, we're on our second 0-kilometer oil change, which is super tight. It's like, I thought it was leaking oil cooler lines, the two that come down, and maybe the crash wash, put new crash washers in. I've been tightening them, but then I guess it's leaking from the sandwich. There's like the oil cooler that comes off the engine, and then the sandwich plate thing that the oil cooler lines come out of, and then your oil filter. But I think there's a, well, I know there's a gasket in between the two. I'm almost positive it's coming out of there, so hopefully this is my last 0 kilometer oil change. This sucks a lot that we're gonna have to take this off, but what are you gonna do? So there's 2 seals in these oil coolers. I got both. I've got the 2 different styles. One's off the 240 motor that's going into my Bertoni. So it's just got the coolant lines hooked up to that thing. But we gotta seal the seals to the block, and then there's a seal that seals the cooler portion to this. So I think most of I think it was leaking out both actually, but we'll just do a double oil cooler rebuild because leaks are gay. Okay, I finally got my oil cooler seals. So I've been waiting 3 weeks for these and the chips for my ECU. I still haven't got my chips from Poland. I think they're like another 10 days out, which is torture. But getting this on will be sweet. I'm almost certain it's not gonna leak now. The seals were like, see how they protrude? They were recessed in the old seals, so they were totally pooched. So we'll slap that puppy on. So that pot of stew brew for a few days while we're waiting for chips. Right on. So, God, this is taking so long. I hate this car, but it's so sick all at once. I ordered flying brick chips. The car can run with this ECU if you rev it up. It only runs at 3,000 RPMs. It's super misfirey on idle. So hopefully the chips, I got the daughter board soldered in to this thing finally. Absolute gong show over here. But yeah, daughter board soldered in, so we're waiting for the chips, oil cooler rebuild, and then in theory, no oil leaks, motor running good. We run 16 PSI on the 16T because apparently they're maxed at 18. I don't know, we'll find out. So I left my car. It's been on jack stands for a while. I had my ECU case off, like the metal casing was off. And then I fixed a bunch of stuff in the car after finally getting it running. Purrs like a kitten, figured out that my PCV, the vacuum port was on the wrong one, so it was super limiting. So that's probably why it had blow by or excessive pressure. So I went to fire it up. After all that, super stoked to happen. And I guess in between that, somebody had come and tried out one of my new bucket seats in the passenger seat and squished my ECU and totally like bent a chip right off. So now the car doesn't work. So I'm just on the hunt to find a new ECU, which is super great. We got a fresh gauge. This one actually works, and I got just the Etsy 3D printed thing. Power, AFR, boost, map sensor, whole deal. We got, the map sensor's just plumbed into right where the throttle body is. Just started cleaning these up across. Engines never look that pretty with all the wire harness, but what are you gonna do? I got the boost solenoid here. So that goes in between your wastegate and the turbo. And then you can control all the boost from in there, which is pretty sweet. Wideband, obviously, the downpipe. And that's basically it. There's a couple other things you can do with that gauge, but I'm just gonna have those 3 to get good readings. And then, yeah, it's getting close. It's getting close. Here it is. AFR and boost. Hell yeah. Throttle kit. I gotta go get a bunch of fluids from Canadian Tire, but trans oil, engine oil, diff oil, and coolant intake. Yeah, all right. We got our final goods. Be the 3rd oil change. At the moment, it'll be nice and clean. I took out so much, there was so much fuel in the oil. which just from trying to start it with that NA ECU. We got proper coolant, so I'll flush out the water just because the motor was sitting, so there's probably rust and stuff. Some nice T5 fluid, then I'll swap out the diff. I ran it for probably like 50 kilometers after welding it, so made sure all the metal's out of there. And then just some new engine oil. We should be set to not do the oil again for a long time, or, you know. I gotta end the video because there's too much footage and this is taking too long. But car's working, it's driving. I'm trying to get it dialed in. It's super, I'm not having a good time. But hopefully, second video, this thing will be driving, shredding, and doing burnouts. So, what are you gonna do?